welcome to the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team. I'm Yetta Dekker.
I'm Ken Dekker.
And today we're continuing a conversation we started a few weeks ago about how your house or your home, when it's on the market, how can we create that hotel feel, and why would we? Why on earth would we? Mm-hmm. If you haven't listened to the first part, you'll actually want to, because I think it was really, really good. And now we're going to talk about it a little bit further. So this is part 2. It's only going to be 2 parts, we hope. We plan, because sometimes he gets talking too much. And then it takes way more time to cover a topic than we had intended.
Yeah, I think maybe our listeners should email info@Dekker Team if you think Ken talks too much. We'll see how many emails we get.
Actually, we started this on a show I did with Ryan that you know nothing about because you weren't listening as we were talking to our wonderful guests.
Yeah.
And we're actually running a Facebook contest. So we can run a little Facebook contest attached to this one.
Okay.
Does Ken talk the most, or does Yetta?
Well, this is going to be an easy show for me then.
Oh, well, you can't cheat on this show. You have to be the same as you are on every show.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, we will do that just for fun, because you know what? After doing about 250 shows, which is around where we are now, if we're not having fun, then you're not going to keep doing it.
Well, and hopefully people keep listening because we're having fun.
Well, that's right. And keep learning. The point is to learn. And there is a whole psychological thing that happens when we're having fun and when we're laughing. We actually have an easier time learning.
Yes, remembering.
And remembering what we learned.
Absolutely.
So this is good.
Would you like the last word?
Well, that's a debate in our house that carries on all the time. You got to know.
All right.
And Ken usually wins. That's not even fair, because that has never happened before. You've got to know. If you're just listening to this, you probably ought to watch it, because he does never do what he just did. It's just to get your votes on our silly Facebook thing.
Okay, so we're at the hallways.
Okay,
let's get on the radio show.
Okay.
Because we did the foyer and the entranceway and the coming up to the home. And now when you go down the hallway of a luxury hotel, generally there's some things you notice. Like the carpets are clean and fresh.
And no dirt along the edges.
That's correct.
Right? It's even that those, like when you clean your carpet, sometimes...
Where the vacuum doesn't really get, you
Yeah.
have to pull out that little narrow thing.
Yeah.
That's the edger. I love that thing.
Yeah, I don't. Anyway, I love when you do it, though.
Okay.
So that's awesome. And that little strip, if there's a little bit of dirt in there, even though the rest of the carpet's clean, it feels dirty.
Yeah. And there's minimal furniture in hallways because they're for passage, right? A hallway is for passage, not for staying there. Now, if you're by the elevator, they may have a little table or maybe have a couple chairs because it's a little more spacious and there's a place to sit down while you wait for the elevator. So maybe if you've got a large landing, you might make something welcoming there, a little table or maybe 2 small chairs or something of that nature, just in case you're winded having come up those sets of stairs. Especially if you came from the basement, that's 2 sets of stairs. Cute, eh?
Yeah, no.
So anyway, and the hallway usually leads to your bedroom. And
Well, depending on which hallway, maybe I'm
That's
on the
true.
hallway on the main level.
Well,
Oh, you're back in a hotel.
I'm in a hotel.
See, this whole thing is a little bit confusing. I think we did a pretty good job on the first show, keeping it straight. And the whole reason for the comparison, if you didn't catch the first show, is that what we experience in life, we take into every other area of our life. Mm-hmm. So your competition when you're selling your home really is the experiences that home buyer has had previously elsewhere, not just in other homes.
Right.
And so we felt the hotel gives you, and the luxury hotel, the well cared for, the well maintained, gives us an idea of the emotional connection that people will have with your home if you've done the same thing.
And I've stayed in many hotels and
Yes.
many luxury hotels and some what we call flea-bitten hotels, right? But what hotel when you walk in and you see the bed, what chain do you want me to book for our holidays or staying at when we're at an event? Which hotel do you want me to stay at because of the bed?
Generally, and I do have more than one I like,
Okay.
generally it will be the Westin.
The Westin.
Just because I know what I'm going to get. It's going to be comfortable. It's going to be clean. It's going to be crisp. It's going to be cozy, and it's going to be inviting.
Oh, it's fluffy.
Yeah.
White Egyptian cotton with down-filled duvets.
Okay.
And puffy.
But they're not sleeping in my house when they're coming to look.
No. But they're imagining sleeping in that room at some point. And so even though your furniture doesn't stay there,
Yeah.
they're getting the experience. And we found if somebody sits down
Yeah.
in a property and really test drive it, because now they're really test driving it. If they sit down on a couch or a chair or maybe even the bed, usually they stay off the bed
Yeah, they
because the
usually
bed
do.
is kind of like
It's sacred.
sacred. Yeah,
Yeah.
people don't generally touch your bed.
Except a little kid that comes running
little
between
kids.
your
And we-
legs and
and we
jumps
grab
and we
them.
grab them. Yeah.
We grab them and tear them off your bed, so it's not on there. But that's when they test drive, is when they start visualizing them living in the home, whether they're sitting down or they're going, oh, well, my furniture could fit here. My bed would be this size. You know, my bed's a king bed. That's a king bed. We know that all of those things are them test driving your home to see if they'll be comfortable with them living in your house.
Right.
Yeah. So how your bed looks is important. So if you've got a little bit of a scruffy,
Well, and when he
covering,
says scruffy, what he's meaning is it's well loved and you've had it for a while, so it might be a little bit faded, might be a little bit worn out, and might just not be as inviting as a new one.
yes, might have gone a little gray
Right.
as opposed to white, or
Well, it doesn't have to be white.
No, it doesn't have to be. But if it is white, let's keep it white.
Okay,
Right.
fair enough.
Pillows, some fluffy pillows, very inviting. Not too much furniture in the bedroom. That's what you find in a hotel. Even though the room may not be huge, they minimalize what's in it so that you feel like you've got space to be there as well.
Right.
And what's interesting is I've never been in a hotel and seen the hotel family's pictures, like the hotel owner, him and his kids or something. I've never seen them pictures in the bedroom, like in the hotel room, right? What's in the hotel room?
Nice artwork.
Nice artwork, scenery, or whatever, so that I can place
Well, sometimes
myself.
it's weird artwork.
Sometimes. Well, there's no accounting for taste,
Okay, fair enough.
But sometimes, then I can put myself in the room as opposed to them being in the room. And that's why sometimes they'll say to you in your house, time to depersonalize it a little bit. It's not that you can't have the odd photo of somebody in the family, but we don't want the walls lined with them.
Well, you don't want,
Yeah.
right? Because
The seller doesn't want them.
No, because as you as a seller, if that's the case, now what's happening when people are coming into your home, they're not having an experience for themselves. They're having an experience of you. And the number of times I've seen people go, "Oh, I think I know him," or "I think so and so." I want what
Because
kind
they're
of
looking at the pictures of people, not at the house.
right. And so by creating a more I was going to say blank. It's not about a blank canvas. More about just an inviting environment that allows them to welcome themselves into the space, engage in the environment, really test out how does it feel for them to potentially be the new owners of that house. And so a little less furniture, that extra dresser that although you need what's in there, maybe you can pack it up a little bit for the short season while your home is on the market and take that extra dresser downstairs. These things are really, really helpful.
Yes. And it's just, I was in a house the other day and in the family room, beautiful collage of children's photos in nice frames. There must have been 8 or 10 of them above
Beautiful,
the couch. It was gorgeous. And I said, yeah, that's got to go.
Well, you don't make them take it down. You
Yeah,
recommend it.
I recommend it. I
Thank
said,
you.
can you please replace that with one large piece of art? Because we don't, even in a home where they've got many small pieces of art on one wall, we'll generally suggest take that down, put one large piece of art. It draws the eye for a moment, but doesn't distract, and then they can go on to see the rest of the property.
And envision themselves there. That's what the whole point is, really, is creating this environment. And the reason we use the hotel analogy is because they've figured it out. They have figured, not all of them, many of them have figured out how to create an environment that causes you to just be drawn forward and into the space.
Yes.
And that's what we want to do in a home, not tripping over the laundry hamper that's hidden around the corner next to the dresser or that kind of thing. So as much we want wide spaces, we want room that regardless of whether we've got, a smaller person or a larger, taller person, that there's still room to navigate without feeling like you're running into something.
Yes. And we don't really want to see your dirty laundry or even your clean laundry.
Well, when you say we, you mean it just doesn't create the emotional response that you're looking for.
Yes.
Because when we're looking for a home, we're not thinking about the laundry that we need to be doing.
No, and what it gives you is a sense that there isn't a place for the right things.
Right.
Because when they're in the wrong place, it says there isn't enough room or there isn't that right place to put that. Right. So it's difficult to organize this property, this home.
Right. And I think what's cool about that thought is this isn't a conscious thought that people are having.
No.
This is a below the surface. They don't even know that this is the information they're gathering most of the time. Nobody says, hey, I have nowhere to put my laundry. Look, it's all over the place. They don't say that. It's just what's happening for them. And you can tell because then they later make decisions or comments about the property that let you understand that that's exactly what happened.
Right. Now, sometimes we spend a lot of time in the bedroom or the hotel room, and likewise, in a house. But generally, you're going to go back down to near the lobby where there's going to be a lounge area. There's going to be some nice, comfy chairs. Little tables, a place you can put a drink down and have a pop, or sometimes in many of the foyers there's water there, or there's a cooler with ice, like a jug with ice, and it's got some water with lemon slices in it or something. So if you're selling, you may want to put something out for the people that are coming, because maybe they've been on the road for quite a while looking at properties. And to have that hospitality of having a couple bottled waters sitting there with a little note. Like I've had people put out candies or cookies or that kind of thing, and there's no note. So nobody wants to take one. Because even though they were probably put there for us, we don't want to take one because it might not have been put there for us, and then we'll look like
it was for the kids for after school, right?
And we stole their cookies.
Yeah, so that's part of the whole test driving thing that we've been sort of weaving into our conversation along with the hotel conversation. And that is people want to experience it, which is what a test drive is all about. It's testing it. It's trying it on for size. And so when somebody chooses to sit at your kitchen table and drink a bottle of water or have a cup of coffee, if you're going out just for the showing and it's a 1 hour timeline, if you flick on the coffee maker, whether they drink it or not, isn't even the biggest deal.
The smell of coffee. Most people like the smell of coffee, even if they don't drink it.
Right.
They might like the smell of it. Or cookies, that's another way, or baked bread, or anything like that will affect the senses.
Right. And so if they sit down at your kitchen table and actually experience the hospitality that you've offered them, because you've left a little note and you've left a few little treats, and they choose to sit and engage with that, it is been seen again and again and again that it is more inclined that somebody's going to get a positive feeling towards your house. And in fact, it increases the number of times they buy. Like this is real.
Yep. Yeah. So if you're just joining us on the Inside Track on Real Estate, you're listening to the Dekkers talking, Yetta and Ken Dekker, and we're talking about the parallels of a luxury hotel and preparing your home to invite guests in who may just want to buy your home. And another thing that we're going to come up to is when we come down to that lounge, typically there may be some soft music playing. Yeah. There may be a pianist playing on a piano, nice soft music. It may be just piped in music. I've even been where there's been someone playing a harp. Just gorgeous soft music. The temperature is going to be nice. And if it's cooler out and there's a fireplace there, guess what? The fireplace will be on. Okay? So we're coming into the cooler weather now. And you may just want to throw your fireplace on. And just before you turn it on and get the glass nice and hot, you may want to polish the glass. Get that squeaky clean.
And then at the same time, of course, which they can't see, have the chimney swept if it is actually a wood fireplace.
It's wood, yes.
Yeah, if it's wood. If it's gas, I'm thinking they don't need to do that.
No.
Okay, perfect. And so anything you can do to encourage people, just like they do in the hotels, to engage in the space, to get comfortable, sit down. That's not a bad sign. It's a good sign. Sometimes I'll have sellers comment, well, they were here or they were there. See that as a really great thing because they're actually trying it on. They're testing it. They're experiencing it. They're getting to know how it feels for them and therefore envisioning what it's like for them to live there.
And then when you go to a luxury hotel, quite often you'll find if you walk into the dining room, there isn't bare tables. The table may have a beautiful tablecloth on it. Generally, it's set. It has a plate in it, the glass, the cup, the silverware. It's polished. It's clean. And it's inviting. There may be candles there, not lit yet, but the candles there. And you can do the same thing at your home. Because those dishes, actually, when you go to a fancy restaurant, a lot of times your food comes on a plate, they take that plate away. That was just for decoration. And likewise, you can set your dining room table up so it looks like you're having dinner guests tonight.
Which is awesome. Even though you don't have to cook them a full meal. They don't need to move in for the dinner hour, even if they're coming at dinner. We're thinking much lighter things just in the kitchen area or on an island or somewhere where they can even stand to enjoy the few refreshments.
Yeah, I'm just talking more home preparation so that people can envision this would be where I'd have my dinner party if it's a dining room nicely set.
And it really depends on the size of the house as well and what the intended uses are of the different spaces in terms of how far you will go with some of that.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? Every luxury hotel I've been to, when I want to use a computer, I go to the business center. And when I want to exercise, I go to the gym. And the gym never has computers in it. Does that sound weird?
Carry on.
So, in our home, what we want to do is compartmentalize what particular rooms are used for. So when a room is blended, if you've got exercise equipment, toys for the kids, and it's your TV sitting area, that's too much going on. People can't visualize what they would use that particular room for unless they do the same thing. But typically, you want it to either be a gym area or you want it to be a theater area. TVs are big in people's lives nowadays for whatever reason. Size of TV, seating for the TV area, atmosphere, lighting, warmth. That's a big deal. And you're not going to find a theater room typically in a lower price home. But even if you have a nice rec room in the basement and you have it set up with some nice couches and a TV and it feels warm and inviting, that's great. Take all the other stuff, either put it in storage or put it into a different room that's available for exercise or computers or whatever.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
You let me do a lot of talking because you want me to get more votes.
He's going to get more votes. He's on a roll today. So if you just figured out what I was doing, he figured it out probably about the same time you did. Anyway, I have been intentional today.
Thanks.
Intentionality is a great thing. So you do want to be very intentional when you're preparing your home, though. because you want to create that experience. I wish I could think of another word, because I feel like I've said experience 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 times.
You know, it really hits home when we've had people ask us to help them prep their home. They get it all done, all the renovations, all the painting, all the fixing the little things, and then they phone us, we don't want to move anymore. We love our home again.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, it does. And that's okay.
Because sometimes our house just gets out of control.
Yeah.
And, you know, have you ever walked into a hotel room and the carpet's dirty or dingy? Or worse, the bathroom? You go into a bathroom in a hotel, that's going to tell me a lot whether I'm going to stay there or not. If I go in and towels are perfectly clean, everything's crisp, the floor is clean, the grout is clean, there isn't mold in the cracks of the tub, and it just shines, I'm probably staying there.
And there's no watermarks on the glass doors?
Yeah, everything is clean, sparkly. That's huge.
Yeah.
And when people are looking to buy a home, they're looking, like you might go, oh, well, I shower in there every day, so it gets a little grungy or a little soap grime or whatever, right? Minerals on the glass. But when they're looking at it, they're going, am I going to shower in that? And they don't want your left behind dirt, right? So they're looking for sparkling bathrooms that sparkle, kitchens that sparkle. That's huge.
It is huge. And again, I can't stress enough, they don't say it. This is not a verbal conversation that generally happens.
No.
It's a responsive, actually, it's more a reaction.
Mm-hmm. It's a guttural, heart, emotional reaction.
Yeah.
They're not even putting words to it. They're not thinking it. It's a subconscious thing. And that's what's going to happen.
So if you're picturing your house and you're thinking this is going to be so much work, there is some work to be done. And you don't have to do any of the stuff we've talked about. All that it will do if you do these things is you will sell your home likely faster, likely for more money, have to get out of your home a whole lot less, and it's just going to be a better overall experience of actually getting it sold. Mm-hmm. Right? The prep is heavier, clearly, a lot more things to think about. And once they come in, it's likely you're not going to have to go through the experience of having people in your home very often, because people are going to fall in love with it.
Yeah. It reminds me of a story. Now we're really going to get onto an off topic. Airplanes. They did a study, and people said if there's coffee stains on the seats of an airplane, they didn't feel safe. And that, really?
Right.
It's because if they didn't do the cleaning, then they weren't doing the maintenance.
Right. That's the thought that went through, the unconscious thought that went through their mind.
So when a home isn't clean and crisp and repairs done, little repairs, carpet replaced on the stairs where it's worn or stained or whatever, now suddenly they're going, they probably don't maintain the furnace. I wonder if they've been fixing the caulking on the outside of the windows. You know, like it's just part of the package.
Right.
Yeah. So you want to do that as well. Check your caulking on your windows and all that kind of things. Because once the buyer decides to buy, now they're going to call in someone else who's really objective, who's not buying the house, to come and kind of nitpick it a little bit, find the things that are wrong with it, things that could cost money, things that are a safety issue, that kind of stuff. From a home inspector's view, they're going to go in the attic and that kind of thing. So some of our clients even have those pre-done, not because a buyer will use theirs, but because they can preempt some of the things that might come up. And some inspectors find different things than other inspectors.
Yeah, and that's the challenge with it, right? Everybody has, although it's objective, there is some subjectivity to it as well, because everybody has a different perspective on what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. So just making sure that when people walk in, it has that inviting presence. Mm-hmm. Welcoming, warmth, inviting, warmth, the right temperature, the right music, the right sight, the right smells. Just let them experience it with all their senses so that there's nothing you've not done that will cause them not to move forward with your house.
Yes. And now we're going to talk about 2 properties that will give you that luxury hotel feel. One is in the village of Manotick.
Yeah.
It's on a beautiful private lot with a in-ground pool.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
4-bedroom, 2-story, hardwood floors, beautiful hard surface countertops. And it's just lovely. It's warm, it's inviting, has the fireplace, and it's a 2-story Tudor style. Very, very nice. For sale at $750,000. And then the other property is also at $750,000. A little bit more land with this one. This was on Rideau Bend in Rideau Forest, and also $750,000. Let's see. Beautiful private yard, lovely interlock, granite countertops, all the things you'd expect to find in a luxury home. And we just love to show people these properties as long as they're qualified to buy them, because we protect our sellers. We won't allow people to test drive a house unless they're serious about buying a house and they can afford to buy that value of house, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's important. Yeah, it's important to have the right people in your home. If you're going to go through all the effort of making it right and making it inviting and welcoming and engaging, you want to make sure that those people that are coming into your home, in fact, are the right people that will appreciate all that you've done and then be able to move forward if they really appreciate it a whole lot. Okay.
So we're glad you joined us on the Inside Track on Real Estate, and we'd love to answer your questions about your home. You could call us at 613-860-4663 and ask for one of the Dekker Team realtors. And we've got a lot of experience in helping people, do the right renovations to live in their home and to, in the future, sell their home.
Well, because there is a trend in how we're coaching our clients these days and people that are not yet our clients, and that is, let's make a decision today that serves you and gives you the things you want and will also be highly effective and beneficial to you when and if the time comes to sell.
Right.
So that you're not making decisions just with a single mind, you're taking into consideration the rest of it. So if you're thinking of selling anytime and you want to do the right things now to position yourself whenever that time is to sell, then give us a shout, because we'll help you create that luxury hotel feel without a lot of expense. It's not expensive. Most of the stuff is just being focused.
Yep. So thanks for joining us on the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team.